I want to catch up now with Afghan veteran and federal Liberal MP Phillip Thompson. Joins us live from Townsville. Good to talk to you, Phillip. One of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, especially with your background, is you made a point that I made on this program last week, and that is that I think it's wrong in this country for media to do interviews with the Taliban and publicise them. I mean, we have the Taliban in the media in Australia saying that your colleagues, the 41 Australian defence personnel who died in Afghanistan, died in vain. I mean, this is Taliban propaganda spread on Australian media. Tell me about your thoughts on that and what should be done.
Mate, it was horrendous to see. It was an absolute kick in the guts for myself, for my mates, veterans around the country, to see an Australian news outlet interview the Taliban. They're a terrorist organisation. This is a group of people that suppressed young women, girls from having a voice, treated them as property, not people, pushed them to the side and told them they weren't allowed to speak, and they took their voice away. And now we're seeing an Australian news outlet give the people that did that a voice on Australian TV. And, mate, our most bravest, who sacrificed their lives for the freedoms that we enjoyed here today, and the hundreds of people that have been injured from their service, their families and the people that have succumbed to their war within back here on home soil, don't deserve to be seeing such garbage portrayed on Australian TV.
Well, it's an important issue because it's going to move forward. We need to deal with this in the future. Now, it was Nine Media who did it in this instance. This very station reported what they had broadcast. So I'm not saying that we're above this ourselves, but we need to think about it not just in the media but in governments, because if the Taliban are going to be the government, are we going to allow them now to speak on behalf of Afghanistan, such a repugnant organisation, as you say, is anathema to all the values we stand for?
Firstly, the Taliban is not a government, and we should never accept them for that claim of being the government of Afghanistan. They are not. They are a terrorist organisation. The Taliban, ISIS, Haqqani network, they are scumbags of the earth, and they are terrible people and should be treated with the disdain that they deserve. And any other country that is supporting them in being a government are no friend of ours.
Well, we're going to see countries have embassies there. Countries like China and Russia, they'll have embassies there. They'll recognise the Taliban as a government. The UN will probably recognise them. Will Australia not do so?
I won't. I will not recognise them as a government. And those nations that you announce, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for everything. There's a line in the sand, and the line has been drawn. This organisation, the Taliban, ISIS, Haqqani network, they're terrorists. They are not good people. They have slain their own people for as long as I can remember. They kill innocent women and children, family members. They should never be recognised as any form of government, and I, for one, will not be standing next to anyone that says they should be. And we, as Australian people, should call out this poor behaviour of any nation that calls the Taliban a governing body.
Well, Phillip, I think you're absolutely correct, and I applaud you for making your feelings known so publicly, because we've got to make sure people understand this. Because this is, as I say, going to continue to challenge us. Just briefly, before we finish, what are your thoughts about the 20th anniversary of 9/11 and your fears about how that will be marked in Afghanistan?
It's something that's always been a sombre day for many people around the world, and especially in Australia and the United States. That day I'll be, hugging my daughters extra tight and linking in with my mates. I do fear for what Afghanistan will be like on that day, because the Taliban will clearly and obviously celebrate it, and that's something that we must condemn as well. I'm fearful what will happen around the world with the fall of Afghanistan and people having embassies there and thinking they're a legitimate government, because they're not. We need to be super vigilant, and we need to be looking after each other, and our allies need to be stronger more than ever.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us, Phillip. I appreciate it.
Thanks, mate.
Phillip Thompson there, who served his country in the Defence Forces in Afghanistan and now serving our country in Parliament. He speaks great sense on this difficult issue.